Now available in paperback and e-readers from SJS Direct. ISIS, House of Isis. The goddess next door takes on a hustling Hotep high priestess in Harlem in this Afrocentric ISIS series adventure. Pick up ISIS, House of Isis at online booksellers today. One of my viewers sent me a link to a video talking about this Zaza Ali, this biracial, pro-black, back to Africa, red, black, and green Negro female who was alleged to have conned several of these Afro-American Negro women out of $15,000 for a retreat she says she was planning. However, the day before the retreat, this Zaza Ali says that she was in an accident and could not attend and had to cancel the event. And as these black women began digging into the details as related to the cancellation of the event, they soon found out that the event at the hotel had been canceled 30 days before, and that Zaza Ali never even put down a deposit on the hotel for the so-called retreat. And when I take a critical look at this Zaza Ali, she is just another in line of these pro-black, back to Africa, red, black, and green Negroes out here who runs these race hustles in the hopes of exploiting their own people. Because when it comes down to many of these pro-black, back to Africa, red, black, and green Negroes, they've always got some sort of product they're trying to sell the Negro, and they always try to find a way to shame the Negro into buying their product, or they try to sell the Negro on buying their product in the hopes of making them more self-aware or more aware of their so-called blackness. And because many of these Afro-American Negroes out here are spellbound and want to fit into this black box that gets them white acceptance, they buy into the rhetoric of the pro-black, back to Africa, red, black, and green Negro, and will give them money for a product sight unseen. And when I take a further critical examination of this Zaza Ali, she is running the same hustle that former YouTuber Tanya TKO ran a couple of years ago. Now, anyone who was on YouTube a couple of years ago, they remember your Tanya TKO, and she was another one of these pro-blacks out here, and she ran this game on black people talking about how she had been put out of her house, she didn't have any money, and she also got 15 or 20 or so $1,000 in a GoFundMe. And then after she got the money, she then literally just disappeared. And that's what I believe Zaza Ali was getting ready to do with this money before one of these reporters in the area she lived in went to investigate. Because had that reporter not gone out to investigate, Zaza Ali would have walked away with that money in the same way former YouTuber Tanya TKO walked away with the money, and the same way your Umar Johnson walked away with over $500,000. Because when it comes down to these pro-blacks, they often want to try to, again, shame black people into supporting them, and then after they've shamed black people into supporting whatever cause they have and donating money to their cause, then they don't want to be transparent, nor do they want to be accountable for the money. For them, the black community is just a hustle, and this pro-black gimmick that they're using is a way to get money out of unsuspecting black folks who think that they're going to become more aware by being involved with this black person, when in actuality all they're doing is being conned by this fake pro-black. And when it comes down to this fake pro-black Zaza Ali, she had an extra weapon in her arsenal, because with her being one of these biracials, she could use her lighter skin tone and her mixed heritage as a way to get the attention of many of these Negro females out here, because when it comes down to the Afro-American Negro female, oftentimes she gets spellbound and mesmerized by anyone with a lighter skin complexion, because they believe, because this person is closer to white, they believe they can trust this person. And when it comes down to the biracial race hustler, they will oftentimes, again, use their light skin to manipulate people into going along with whatever they are trying to sell them. And that's how I believe your Zaza Ali conned many of these Afro-American Negro females, because they thought because this woman had a lighter skin tone and was closer to white, they could trust her. And this is something that usually winds up going to bite the Afro-American Negro female in the backside, because she goes out here and trusts these so-called pro-black biracials, not understanding that these pro-black biracials are just out to hustle them. And your Zaza Ali was out to hustle those black women in the same way your Colin Kaepernick was out here hustling these Afro-American Negroes out here, in making them believe that he was all about stopping police brutality, and he was taking these knees to stop police brutality. But in actuality, he wasn't interested in stopping police brutality. He was just using the black community as a pawn to have a base to rally behind, so that he could get leverage with the NFL in the hopes, and the owners of the San Francisco 49ers, in the hopes of getting either a trade or a new contract for his mediocre play. And when the whole situation backfired, your Colin Kaepernick continued to play the race card, even though things weren't working for him. And then Nike then offered him a $30 million deal in the hopes of getting themselves some money out of these Afro-American Negroes, because they know that whenever you see one of these biracials, that the Negro again becomes spellbound, he becomes mesmerized, and when he sees those crystal blue eyes, or that creamy white skin, or that creamy golden skin, what this Negro will do is follow the lead of this biracial person, just like the lemming they actually are. And they'll go along with this biracial person in whatever they want. And when it comes down to people like your Zaza Ali's, or your Colin Kaepernicks, or your messy Jesse Williams, black folks have to watch themselves, because when it comes down to the biracial race hustler, what they want to do is move themselves ahead at our expense. And what they will do is talk the rhetoric that makes black people feel good, and then as those black people are caught up in their emotions, they will then sell them on whatever product or agenda they have. And then as those black folks get caught up in these people's spell, what happens is they wind up falling for whatever con they have, and as money gets taken out of their pocket, it goes into the race hustler's pocket, and then that money leaves our community. Because when it comes down to your biracial race hustlers like Zaza Ali, they are not about black empowerment. They are not B1. They are not black first. They put on a facade of blackness to get black dollars. Then they want to take those black dollars out of your black community and then spend them with white people. This is something that I went in depth in my ISIS series book, ISIS, House of ISIS, where I had the ISIS character taking on this so-called priestess Anjara, one of these hoteps who was talking all of this great stuff about black people being descendants of ancient Egyptians, and talking about how she wanted to create a Kemet in Harlem. And this is the type of rhetoric that people like Zaza Ali go into whenever they're involved with black people. However, you take the same Zaza Ali and you put her in a room full of white people, and she will not be talking that pro-black rhetoric, because again, all of that pro-black stuff, like the braids, the made in Taiwan kufis and dashikis and the Afrocentric garb. All of that is a gimmick to get your attention and then make you believe this person is pro-black, when in actuality, this person, in many cases, oftentimes sleeps white. Because when it comes down to many of these pro-black females, like your Zaza Ali, yes, they'll have the natural hair and the made in Taiwan kufi and dashikis, or the made in Taiwan dresses and the sandals, but they'll also have a white boyfriend or a white husband. So that's why when you look at them and listen to their rhetoric, you have to take a more further critical look at their actions, because their actions speak louder than their words. They'll talk about all of this pro-black stuff, but when you look at their actions, these are the first people to never go out of their way to support a black-owned business or try to go out here and promote black-owned businesses or concepts like group economics, because the only reason why they are wearing pro-black garb is to make money for themselves, and then they want to take that same money that's out of the black community and then spend it in the white community with their white boyfriends and the white people who they consider their real friends, because for them, pro-black is not something that they're about on the inside. It's a facade they present on the outside. And this Zaza Ali, again, is just another race hustler, and this biracial race hustler is no different than your Colin Kaepernick. And what's really sad about many of these Afro-American Negroes out here is that just a few months after Colin Kaepernick got all of you Negroes to head back to the sneaker stores to go out here and buy those Nike sneakers as part of that $30 million deal, here we have yet another biracial race hustler running the same play from the same playbook, but yet the spellbound Negroes never take a critical look to see that you just fell for the same okey-doke one more again. And as you keep falling for these okey-dokes, it just shows how clueless these Negroes are regarding these biracial race hustlers who come to your community to exploit you, and then after they exploit you, make a complete fool out of you. And the sad part is, again, this is the same okey-doke just a few months before Colin Kaepernick run, a couple of years before Jesse Williams ran, and the same game that your Barack Obama ran. And it just shows me the saddest part about these biracial race hustlers is that there's no hope, no change for the Negro, and no hope of breaking the spell off the minds of many of these Negroes regarding these biracial race hustlers and how they use their skin tone to own the black man and the black woman and make a complete fool out of them. If you'd like to learn more about how these race hustlers operate, I urge you to pick up my ISIS series book, ISIS, House of ISIS. And if you want to learn about the spell that is placed on the minds of many black people who are trying to fit into the black box that's acceptable to white people, you can pick up my novel Spellbound, which goes in depth on that subject. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.